Despite what you might think, no, this is not Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. Although it really wanted to be. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is Thorgiween, which we're reviewing horror films all month long. We are right smack dab in the middle of Universal Monster Week, which we're looking back at some of the classic Universal Monster horror films. And we needed to hit up a mummy film. We've done a Frankenstein film, A Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula was yesterday. We need to make sure that we did a mummy film. But I didn't want to do the original Mummy because the original Mummy is not the Mummy that everybody thinks of. When everybody thinks of the Mummy, that first movie is not it. Like, it's the Mummy in there. He's not covered in bandages. He's not, walking around like you expect. He is a well-spoken dude. And he's just like a guy with a skin condition, is all it is.
It's basically Night at the Museum.
I have not seen that one.
The joke is that the guy in the tomb is well-spoken instead of a mummy.
Oh yeah, wasn't all I know about the Mummy in Night at the Museum is that it was played by Rami Malek.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's that. Well, anywho, so yeah, I didn't want to do that first one because it's not the Mummy that everyone thinks of. So instead we're doing the next film that came after it, which, interestingly enough, is not a sequel to that first Mummy film. Like, a lot of the other Universal Monster films, like Bride of Frankenstein, is a direct follow-up to Frankenstein. I believe, like, the later Dracula films mostly are all continuations of that first Dracula film. The Wolfman did not get any direct sequels. I think the next Wolfman film was Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, but it still was a sequel to that first Wolfman film. This one is not connected to that first Mummy film in any way, shape, or form. Like, I think even they realized, like, oh yeah, nobody really wants to see this. Nobody, like, we're trying to make monster films here. This is just Boris Karloff walking around. Like, he's just a guy. That's not interesting in any way. So yeah, they had to turn it into a monster. So this is a complete reboot, which we've been talking throughout this Universal series that it's kind of interesting to look back at this and realize, like, oh yeah, wow, a lot of the things that we think of today in movies was still going on back then. And this is one of the earliest examples that I can think of in which a studio was just like, fuck it, just reboot it. Just reboot it. And this came out in 1940. I don't know when the first Mummy film came out, but it was definitely after 1931 because that's when Dracula came out. So in less than a decade, they were like, we have to reboot this thing. It's like, damn, even by today's standards, that is quick. But we are of course talking about The Mummy's Hand, which is an interesting title because I don't think that this film has anything to do with the mummy's hand in particular.
Like, maybe it's not like a literal hand.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, because basically the story is like, ancient Egyptian got cursed and like someone has to be around to like guard the tomb.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
And then like, okay, I'm done. I'm passing the responsibilities onto you. Make sure this doesn't happen. Otherwise, the mummy will come to life and kill everybody. And the guy is just like, literally the hand, basically the right-hand man of the pharaoh.
I can see that. Because I kept thinking, like, one of his hands doesn't work all that well. And I was like, is that what you're supposed to be referring to?
If it is, that's a bit of a stretch.
That is a bit of a stretch. Also, I keep talking about how much the cushion on this couch is sinking. I am about a foot taller than you, and yet we are the exact same height right now. So it's like, God damn, I am.
Although, like, I'm kind of like sitting upward a bit more. Yeah.
All right. There we go. That's a bit more accurate. Anywho, can you tell that I'm trying not to talk about this film? This film is okay. It's fine. It's just very interesting, and you'll see why in a second. So the film starts off with like a flashback of how our current mummy was created. He stole a bunch of these like sacred leaves, like dried leaf things. And so he was found and killed and then wrapped up. And he wasn't even killed. They buried him alive.
Yeah.
They killed all the slaves who attacked him, though.
So there would be no...
So there'd be no witnesses. And like, wow, dick move. So they bury him alive, wrapped up and mummified. And so for all this time, there's been somebody who's been assigned to guard his tomb. And they have those leaves they stole. And apparently if they like burn them up, they can create this little oil. And then if he drinks like a few drops of it, the mummy comes to life and does whatever he's commanded to do. But they warn you early on, if you give him 9 drops, he will become an unstoppable monster. Which we will get to why that's kind of BS in a moment. But it then cuts to our 2 protagonists. Let me get their names again. Steve and Babe. Which
Babe?
I never remember hearing. I don't remember hearing his name at all, but I'm looking at the credits. And
I always thought it was like Dave or something like that.
I thought that too, but it's listed as Babe in the credits.
Well, Babe Ruth was a name.
Yeah,
so
I guess it was just a common name back then. But it's these 2 guys. They're in Egypt. One of them works for a museum, and they're there trying to study something. That's Dave, and he is the good-looking, tall one, and then he's got the short, funny guy there. And the short, funny guy is talking about his girl back in Brooklyn, and oh, he's from Brooklyn. I mentioned that I'm from Brooklyn. I don't even mention I'm from Brooklyn as much as this guy does. And they are so just Abbott and Costello. Like, it is not the actors themselves. They are not actually Abbott and Costello. But, oh man, you can get the feeling from this. They wanted Abbott and Costello, and they were told no. So they're like, get me the closest thing we have, and we're not changing the script.
It's like, I want to watch Abbott and Costello meet the mummy. We have that at home. Abbott and Costello at home.
Yeah, it's that. Because I'm like, man, I like Abbott and Costello. You are not Abbott and Costello. Stop trying to be that. It is so, like, and they're not even that bad or anything. They're fine. It is just so clearly that is what they are going for. It's like I'm trying to think of the modern day example of that. It's kind of like if they tried to hire Jack Black for a film, but for the first time in his life, he said no to a role. And so they had to get somebody else who was kind of Jack Black-ish. And the entire time you're like, man, I'm sure you're a nice guy. But holy crap, we know who this role was made for. You just said skadoosh. We know this was made for Jack Black. My God, stop trying to be Jack Black. And yeah, we follow them for a while. And they find out about this dig site. And they find out about the dig site because they go and they start buying these souvenirs, and Dave sees this broken vase, and he asks how much, and it's $75, and he tells Babe to just give the man the $75, and Babe's like, oh, I don't want to do that, and oh, all right, fine, I guess I'll give you the $75.
And like, that's the last of their money?
And that was like the last of their money, and I looked it up. That's like $1,700 in today. And like, holy shit, Dave, you owe him a couple favors after this. Oh, man. That's, whoo. So, but he takes the vase, and he examines it, and he goes, okay, I think that this is the guide to where we can find a dig site.
And then, like...
Then they go into a bar, and Babe is trying to pull card tricks on people.
No, it's like you forgot, like they were trying to take it to a curator to make sure, like, it's official.
And the curator is the guy who guards the mummies, too.
So he's like, so of course he doesn't want anyone to find out about the tomb, so it's like, oh, this is a fake.
Yeah, and he tells them it's a fake, but they don't listen to it, which I do have to say, I kind of like that they actually had to ask the question, okay, what does the guy who guards the mummy's tomb do for a day job? It's like, he doesn't just go into the tomb and now he lives there his whole life. He's not Merrick. No. he has to have a life outside of that. It's like, he has to afford groceries.
Yeah.
Guarding a mummy's tomb does not pay the bills. So yeah, I kind of like that he actually had to have a job. That's kind of an interesting thing.
And honestly, I couldn't think of like a better job for him. Like...
Yeah. He's very qualified. But he's trying to keep them away from that tomb because, as you can guess, the map on this vase takes them to the very tomb he's supposed to be guarding. But they end up going there, but they go there because they go to this bar, and I think they're trying to raise money for this by doing card tricks.
Because, once again, they blew all the money on the vase.
Yeah.
And they want to money for the excavation site. So.
Exactly. So they end up running into a magician. And I gotta say, this is actually a good gag. He's trying to pull card tricks on people, and he's succeeding. Babe is pulling off these card tricks. Then he goes up to this one guy and does the card trick, and the guy is like, oh, yes, I bet that I can guess that card. I bet I can play along with your tricks. And then Dave looks over and sees the poster on the wall of World's Greatest Magician. And like, all right, that's pretty good. I'll give you that one. That's a pretty good gag. But so the magician pulls one over on them. And then they start talking. They realize they're both from Brooklyn. And they start bonding over being from Brooklyn. Because as I can tell you, anybody from New York only wants to do one thing. And it's talk about being from New York. So they start buying over this, and then they tell him about the dig site, and he gets very intrigued by this, and he gives them all of his money for the dig site. Then after that, he goes back to his hotel, and he finds his daughter there, his daughter, Marta. And Marta is like, please tell me you did not get rid of all of our money again. Like, he clearly, despite being a magician, he is a guy who gets duped often. And it's like, that's a charming character trait in there. Granted, they then just keep leaning into the freaking magician thing until it gets so old. Like, there's things that would, like, they clearly must have just figured out how to do tricks on camera with edits. And they were having the time of their life showing it off.
Like, if there was some, like, if the tricks actually like help them like defeat the mummy in some way,
that seems like it would have been good.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
It's just there for gags.
Yeah,
because this film really wants to be a goofy slapstick comedy, and man, it is. Listen, this ain't even me just saying like films from that age aren't funny anymore. Like, nah, man, I will laugh my head off at Marx Brothers. That stuff is hilarious. And like I just said a moment ago, I'm a big fan of Abbott and Costello. These are not funny jokes. These jokes are not good. But I will give this film one big compliment right here. We have now watched multiple other Universal monster films this week. In every single one of them, the woman is there to be the woman. She is there to be the thing that the monster wants to kidnap. She is there to be the damsel in distress. She is there to be the object that the man pines for. Marta kind of kicks ass in this film. Mm-hmm. Marta's not bad.
Like, when she finds out, like, that her father gave, like, money away to these two guys, she, like, grabs a gun and shoves it in her purse and, like, storms on over to them. It's like, all right, you crooks, give them back. It's like...
Yeah, she immediately goes in there and is like, nah, I'm here to start some shit. I was like, oh, damn, I'm not used to seeing this after the other films we've watched this week. This is very refreshing. So yeah, she goes in there and she is immediately like, I am going to, like, it's a fake gun, so she's not actually going to shoot anybody. Although apparently it did have 6 real bullets in it because she fires it at a door. So it's like, okay, I guess it wasn't that fake of a gun. But she goes in there and she is ready to start some shit. And then even after that, they explain to her, it's like, hey, I'm sorry, but we already spent the money on the dig site, and we swear we're not trying to trick him out of anything. We believe in this. This is a real thing. So she's like, all right, fine. You can't get the money back? I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to make sure that we find something, so that way we can get paid for all this. Like, yeah, take some authority with this. All right. This is very impressive for this time period. And they go there, and she's even like one of the people who's like, wait, I was looking at this, and this could be connected to this thing. Like, she even solves, like, the riddle in there. It's like, hell yeah! That's the one thing I have to give this film. Marta is the only female character we have seen in any of these Universal films so far who is actually kind of good. She actually does, like, she, like, kicks ass. Like, I was thinking about Creature from the Black Lagoon. The woman in that, she was a scientist. Like, she wasn't just there because she was, like, Dave Manchester's girlfriend or something.
But even she didn't, like, do much.
She didn't do anything. She was aboard this mission because she was a scientist. I can't think of any science that she did. She just got in her swimsuit and swam around for a bit, and that was it. Whereas here, like, Marta's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I feel like this movie did a lot of things better that could have been done in Creature of the Black Lagoon. Like,
I agree with you.
Like, in the Creature of the Black Lagoon, like, that has the scarier, better monster.
Yes.
In my opinion, yes. But the Mummy's Hand has, like, better characters.
It definitely does. All the characters in Creature of the Black Lagoon were Dave Science. I'm Science, and I enjoy science, and science is wonderful. And in here, like, yeah, they're Abbott and Costello ripoffs. But they still have personality.
Yeah.
They're still distinct.
Mm-hmm.
The magician guy, they lean into the jokes for the magician guy way too much. Like, there comes a point where it's like, all right, that was a good gag with the magician guy. Oh, you're still doing gags with the magician guy. Oh, there's more gags with the magician. Okay, we're here now, and we live in this space forever, I guess. But it's still an interesting character to put in there. Like I said, Marge is great, and I kind of dug the guy who ran the tomb because even he wasn't really evil or anything. He was like, no, do not go to this tomb. Oh, you're here? Well, then you must die. I'm sorry, it's happening. So yeah, it's weird. I got annoyed by so many things in this film just because they were trying to be funny. I was like, oh, dude. Listen, there's few things worse than a bad comedy because you can laugh at a drama or a horror film that's trying to be good but is bad. A bad comedy is just like, oh God, I can't laugh at this. That's the entire reason it's a bad comedy. I can't laugh at this. However, yeah, characters are still pretty good in here. I do think that the Mummy is not that great. However, I will say this. It at least looked pretty good. And like, there's a few shots in there of it attacking people. And they went in and they blacked out its eyes. And you asked this question, and it's something that I had not thought about. I was like, why wouldn't they just have used blacked out contact lenses? And you said, when were contact lenses invented? And I was like, I assumed it was like beginning of the 19th century or something, or like beginning of the 20th century. And I looked up and was like, no, it was like 1950 or something. Like, contact lenses did not exist at this point, so it is impressive that in order to get the like blacked out eye look on the Mummy, the blackest eyes, they actually had to go in on the little film reels and like go, all right, next one. Like, that's pretty impressive that they did that. Granted, they reused the exact same shot 3 times for it, but...
That's probably because they didn't want to, like...
They didn't want to do that 3 times.
No.
Yeah, understandable. But it is very clearly the exact same shot 3 times. However, they get the leaves. The guy gives the Mummy the potion, gives him like 3 drops to get him to awaken. And then, like, the Mummy just keeps getting drinks throughout the rest of this film. And, like, we're warned, like, oh, if it gets 9 drinks, it will be unstoppable. It gets all 9 of those drinks, and it still can't move one of its legs and one of its arms. Like, that was one thing that I kind of dug. When it first woke up, the guy flat out tells him, okay, you can't use one of your arms or one of your legs because I haven't given you enough of this drink. If you go and you kill this person, I will give you more of this drink. And it's like, okay, that's okay. Well, we're going to watch the Mummy become more powerful as the film goes on. No, the Mummy is set at that. I only have 1 arm and 1 leg that works throughout the entire film, even though it continues to drink. It's like, man, y'all forgot the premise of this.
And it's like, the thing is, the guy who's supposed to watch over the tomb, he wants immortality, I guess.
Yeah, he's not like, okay.
Yeah, so I guess
I said he's not that evil. It's like, oh yeah, right, he's a little bit evil.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm guessing he wanted to save some of the potion for himself to be immortal, and basically, the whole reason why the Mummy kidnaps the girl is so he can have, like, a wife to live for eternity with.
Which is kind of a callback to the very first Mummy film, because that's what that entire thing was, is that the Mummy wakes up and it's just some guy. It's just the Pharaoh, he's fully in control, he speaks just fine, got some dry skin, that's it. But he finds this woman who he believes is the reincarnation of his bride, so he wants to get with her and bring her spirit back into this body. So that's always been a thing with the Mummy, is reincarnating or like hooking up with someone. So it's like, all right, they're kind of like bringing that back in here. But even then, Marta still is not as kidnapped as all the other women in these horror films. Like I'm thinking about the woman in Dracula yesterday. It's like, man, she's completely useless throughout this. Thinking about the woman in Creature from the Black Lagoon, she's completely useless throughout all this. Marta is still like fighting throughout this thing. It's like, all right, it's okay, you're doing all right. Yeah, I gotta say, this is definitely like the most progressive of the ones that we've watched, at least in terms of like representation of women. There's a couple of the people in Egypt that they show them like, oh, it feels like that's a stereotype. Oh, that felt bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. But yeah, the only reason I don't, also we're talking about how this did some stuff better than Creature from the Black Lagoon or Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Pacing in both those films, not great. This film is only 60 minutes long, but it moves. Like, it feels like if this had the pacing of Dracula or Creature of the Black Lagoon, it will easily hit 70 or 60 minutes. Oh, sorry, 70 or 80 minutes, but nope, it is a lean 60 because this thing goes, we go from here to there, to there, to there, to there, to there, to there. We're here now, and that's it. Film is wrapped up, done. Good night, everybody. Yeah, after the last couple films, I applaud that. It's weird how there's so many things that I actually did like about this film, and they are directly smacking against the stuff I didn't in here. It feels like if they had just gone, listen, we couldn't get Abbott and Costello, just write new characters, just come up with something original in here. Yeah, I would have probably enjoyed this more. But that being said, looking at this and going like, wow, so this is the film that established what we think of when we think of mummies. It's kind of cool looking at it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of shocking to me that this one is not that well known, honestly. When everybody thinks of the Mummy, they think of that first Mummy movie, except that you don't think of it because what you think of when you think of the Mummy was not in that film. So, well, a lot of the ways, it's kind of like Frankenstein. We were talking about this. But everybody does remember stuff from that first Frankenstein film, at least. With the Mummy, no one actually remembers what was in that one. You remember what came in the later Mummy films. So yeah, it's a very interesting study of a movie. It also does have a better wrap-up, like things actually get resolved.
Wrapped up.
Also, we haven't been doing the spoiler section for these films, because I'm like, yeah, man, if you want to watch the Universal films, you've watched them by now. But since this one is not as well known, I will say, break here, going into the spoiler thing here. There's really only one thing with spoilers that I want to say with this, which is that I kind of dig that this film did the joke of like, if you kill me, you'll be just as bad as me. No, I won't. Blam. I kind of dug that because the guy who's got the Tomb Guardian, he is talking to Babe, which that's another thing that I gotta give this thing credit for. Babe is definitely the comedic relief, and the comedic relief never gets to do anything cool in these films. But as Dave is going to save the girl from the mummy...
Wait, wasn't one of them named Steve and the other was Babe or Dave?
Babe was the short, funny one. I thought Dave was the...
I thought his name was Steve, but you kept calling him Dave. Hold on, let's...
Steve, goddamn. Dave was somebody 2 films ago. Dave was in Creature from the Black Lagoon. Sorry.
Honestly, I understand the confusion since there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. But yeah, so as Steve races off to fight the mummy and save the girl, Babe is left there with the Tomb Guardian guy, and the Tomb Guardian guy is like, no, if you strike me down, nothing will be able to stop the mummy now, and oh, if you do this, then something, something, something. And Babe's just like, all right, blam. I was like, oh wow, Babe actually got to do something like productive in this film and like stop one of the bad guys in the movie. And yeah, I kind of like that there was like no moral quandary on his end. I kind of have to respect that on some level. You're just like, no, you sicked a mummy on us and got some of our guys killed. You have to die. It's like, wow, that's not something that I would expect from a movie. Not even a movie of this time, just a movie in general. You figure there'd be at least some moral quandary. It kind of honestly shocked me a little bit. But yeah, anything else that you want to add about this film?
Well, they defeat the mummy by burning him alive.
Oh yeah,
Which, once again, not very, a bit anticlimactic.
a little bit, yeah. It's, in all honesty, like, I just remember Babe taking out the Tomb Guardian guy. I don't even remember how they took out the mummy. Yeah, sorry. What? I'm not blocking you in the shot.
No, but it's just like, it feels weird seeing your
Fair
elbow next to me instead of
Fair
your
enough.
face.
Fair enough. But yeah, man, this is a weird one. I don't know if I like it or not. Because there's so many things in there that I'm like, oh my god, guys, just stop trying to make... Thank you, phone. I'm like, just stop trying to make jokes already. You're not very good at... But then there's other things in here that I really appreciate. Like I said, Marta kind of kicks ass in this film, and the mummy is the thing that defined mummies from this point on. It's like, all right, that's kind of cool in here. And there's, compared to the films we have watched throughout the rest of this week, the characters are so much more distinct. And I do have to appreciate that. Well, okay, not compared to Bride of Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein still had the most distinct, best characters, easily. But this one still, it's better than the other ones we've watched. So yeah, it's, man, kind of coming down like right in the middle on this thing. I know we haven't been giving scores to the Universal monster films, but this is one where I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm not giving a score because I'm really torn on this one.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, the things that are good are really good, but the things that are bad are really bad.
Well, now shut the fuck up.
And so because of that, it just like kind of evens out.
Yeah, it's kind of like, this is fine. This is a fine Universal monster film. Like, if I had to rank them, Bride of Frankenstein is still at the top from what we've watched so far. And then the other three are real neck and neck to me. Like, almost all of them are like right there. Like, I'd go Creature, and then slightly under that, Mummy's Hand.
We
and then
need to like build
Dracula.
a tier list of like the Universal monster movies.
Yeah, when we eventually watch all of them, we'll do a tier list of it. I don't even know how many of them there are, because I don't even know how many count for that. Because you get into gray areas with like, do the silent films that came before Dracula count? Yeah, it's like, so we'll do that one day. But coming up tomorrow, we'll be watching a film that I have never seen and I have always wanted to check out. Is another one of the Universal staples. We're going to be watching The Invisible Man. Come back then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.